one story I could talk to you about for a moment is, and I think describes how very precise Beckett is with his, not only in the construction of his work, the text is the text. He won't change it unless he's doing a production in which one of the actors doesn't seem to be able to do something with the text. He'll marginalize it or adjust it in some small way, or actually change a word, but not in the script. And one of his other directions was, with regard to crap, the text must claw. He wants that text to claw. He wants this man to be bitter and angry, a failure, an alcoholic, and he's on this treadmill of failure. You know, he never completed the opus magnum, he's a drunk.
Sneers at what he calls his youth, and thanks to God that it's over. False ring there. Shadows of the opus magnum, closing with a yelp to Providence. What remains of all that misery? A girl in a shabby green coat on a railway station platform. No. When I look back,
but I had the value of this man saying those lines. And you'd go away from the rehearsal and go back to whatever you were doing and just couldn't get that man's voice out of my head.
So since we don't have that voice, how do we look for the signs, and how do we learn to manage the text when we don't have Beckett's voice in our head?
He has a tremendous love of music, and his text always presents itself poetically to us. So the combination of the poetry and the music, if you can, cut back into that shape somehow and find that shape, don't say it like that, they won't hear you. That would be a comment that he would make. I wonder about that for a long time. Why wouldn't they hear me? I'm saying it.
Can I just ask you, when you were working with Beckett on the text in the recording studio, and you as an actor having had experience with crap and having done it, when he would point out phrasing or nuance in the text, and how did you learn then to read his text differently, having his input? What clues come from that to help an actor today pick up Godot or Endgame and say, aha, when Beckett writes this kind of sentence, he's looking for this kind of feel? Because unlike maybe Shakespeare, some of their texts where the clues may be overt, it seems to be somewhere hidden in the way he puts them together. And I'm sure with your years of experience, especially having him lean over your shoulder and say, no, you see this line? This line should be done like this. How did the lines begin to look different to you after that experience? And what tools can you suggest in terms of a way to approach looking at it?
Well, the general approach he used was no color.
No color.
No color. And when you erase your own personality in that process, I suppose the man who wrote the play would have to be pleased with the result or not pleased with the result. And my general experience with him was, do it again. Do it again.
In order to get rid of color, you would say?
No color. No color. So that would be one key.
But would he still connect it to an intention?
Well, the poetry is there. If you interfere with it, we don't scan the line. We don't get well, first of all, he's terribly influenced by the rhythmic structure of the line. We drifted in among the flags and stuck. The way they went down, sighing before the step. I mean, that's probably unfair. I've done the thing 500 times or something, but there's a way to read that line. There's a way that line should be. And if it's done another way, it kind of interferes with it. So I guess that would be one example. That if you do a duet for an endgame duet, you know, some of that stuff is very, very tricky. Because he wants maximum aggression between these two characters, the Ham and the Clove characters.
Yes, one day you'll know what it is. You'll be like me, except you won't have anyone with you, because you won't have had pity on anyone, and because there won't be anyone left to have pity on.
It's not certain. And there's one thing you forget. I can't sit down.
Well, you lie down then. What the hell? Or you'll come to a standstill. Simply stop and stand still, the way you are now. One day you'll say, I'm tired, I'll stop. What does the attitude matter?
So, you all want me to leave you.
Naturally.
Then I'll leave you.
You can't leave us.
And I shan't leave you.
Why don't you finish us?
Would you be so generous as to give us a couple minutes of crap?
How do you mean, the spoken text or something? Yeah. Well, at the end, he says, just been listening to that stupid bastard I took myself for 30 years ago. Hard to believe I was ever as bad as that. The voice. Jesus. Oh, man. Thank God that's over and done with anyway. The eyes she had. Just been listening to that stupid bastard I took myself for 30 years ago. 30 years ago. Hard to believe I was ever as bad as that. Her voice. Jesus. Thank God that's all over and done with anyway. The eyes she had.
Perhaps my best years are gone, when there was still a chance of happiness. But I wouldn't want them back, not with the fire in me now. No, I wouldn't.